Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Super Bowl for round 10 of the North American Grand Prix GT2 Championship, coming to you live from Spa-Francorchamps. I am joined tonight by my broadcast partner here on Monday nights, Brad Maris. Brad, welcome. Oh, I think Brad just stepped away, but he will be back momentarily. But again, coming to you live from Spa. This is the finale, well, the Super Bowl leading up to the finale here in GT2, which is customary every season. Spa is the final race in the GT2 calendar, and before we race next week in the 2-hour feature, we will take it to qualifying, and tonight's event will be a 45-minute qualifying session, open session, followed by a 30-minute sprint race. So for those of you just joining us tonight, not familiar with the way the format works, the top two qualifiers in the 45-minute session will guarantee their starting positions next week in the 2-hour feature race. The remainder of the grid will be determined by the finishers in the 30-minute sprint race, and the 30-minute sprint race is usually quite a barn burner. So it's usually very exciting. A lot of guys taking risks they don't normally take. Some good, some many times not so good. But hopefully we'll have an entertaining night here for you guys tonight. And let's pray the broadcast stays up for once. So, and Brad, I don't know if you're back yet.
Love the Super Bowl events, Al. Love them.
All right, there he is, Brad. So thanks. Welcome to the show tonight, Brad.
Oh, you know it, Al. Always great to be in the broadcast booth with you. Some interesting news and notes. We've got a lot of statistics compiled on this event as we have run it. Ooh, qualifying is flooded, so that's the first news and note. But a lot of statistics here in this event, as we have compiled a lot of race data over the course of our 12 GT2 races here, run every season, of course. So hope we get into some of that, as well as take a look at some of the drivers and put a little spotlight on guys we might not otherwise get to see, because we have a full 45 minutes of open qualifying.
So a lot of guys look like to be evaluating the track conditions in 95-degree ambient, flooded conditions. You can see it's a night session as well, so track very wet. It is not currently raining, so given the conditions the way they are, we could see the track start to dry by the end of the 45 minutes. So, but it's going to be a challenge for these guys out of the gate. The lights are on, and it's going to be a fun night. Let's take a look at the track map real quick. Spa, probably the most famous circuit in all of the world. 20 corners. With corners like Eau Rouge, Lacombe, Pouhon, Blanchimont, and the bus stop chicane. It's just and La Source, also known as La Circus around here. Just a fantastic track, Brad. I know you love this track, just like most people do who run here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't always have the best results here. Haven't quite punched through for that first win here yet, but looking forward to that at some point in the future. As always, two key areas around this track: Eau Rouge and the second sector. You manage to get through Eau Rouge every lap safely, and if you can get through the second sector well on top of that, then you've got a chance to win around here.
Currently following Chris Moses, who led the qualifying session, the practice session leading up to this qualifying event. Track was damp in that session, and Moses came out on top in practice. So we suspect that Chris should do quite well here in these conditions. Also going to have to keep an eye out on Marty Uren, who tends to do well in wet conditions.
Yeah, Yeah, Marty Uren, we were taking a look at some of those statistics previously mentioned, and in 12 races here, Marty has yet to finish outside of the top 10, so perfect top 10 result for Marty Uren to go along with 2 wins over the course of those 12 races. So well-versed at Spa, Marty Uren.
Yeah, you mentioned that statistic prior to us going live here, and it's pretty amazing how consistent, how well Marty has done here at Spa. As we pick him up now as he's exiting the pit lane, but Marty has been quite successful. Excuse me. So has his teammate Ian Jolicoeur, but I don't believe Ian is here tonight. I believe Gup Douglas filling in for him. We'll touch on Gup in a little later, and really kudos go out to Gup and John McIntyre for an unbelievable victory last week in GT1, but we'll touch on that a little later on.
Yeah, wow. I hope we do, because it was impressive. Yeah, and you mentioned a couple things. First of all, the track has gone to wet, so this track will dry, particularly with the heat. The only question is exactly how much. Spa typical really quick drying track, so it will hold a little bit of moisture out there. However, we will see some drying. The question is, what kind of heat are we going to have in combination with that drying? And it's pretty hot out there at 105 degrees on the track.
Yeah, it's be interested to see what tire choices these guys might be electing to go on, as Moses has a bit of a lurch there, brings it back in. I mean, you'd expect some of these guys to go out and try the soft wets, but I just think it'd be too hot to get those things to hold up for, well, an out lap and a flying lap.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in this type of heat. Exactly. That was why I mentioned it. So, no doubt everybody did go ahead and line up on those soft wets. It may be that they couldn't even complete that lap. I suspect most of them will. Even if they're having serious tire degradation and heat, they'll go ahead and get that lap in and bank one, and then switch off to something else. Perhaps the intermediates will be working before too long.
Currently on board with Alex White. Alex looking pretty strong in practice as he approaches the bus stop. Gumpert's been a good card to him this season, well, the second half of the season. Really had a tough start to the GT2 season with some connection issues, but got that all sorted out and really played a big role in some of these events in the second half.
Yeah, indeed he has. Of course, he's actually picked up a couple wins over the second part of this season, but you're absolutely right. So it was a full 4 disconnects or DNFs for Alex White through the first part of the season. Not where he would like to be finishing, but sometimes you got to take the good with the bad, and this was the bad.
So we're talking about Marty as Alex White goes to provisional pole. On board with Marty now. Marty in the E92 BMW.
Yeah, a little more on those statistics. We think a lot about a guy like Aaron Parsons around this place, has clinched quite a few championships here at this track, and so kind of think of Aaron being the kind of one of the dominating forces around this track, and really is actually quite good. But that Marty Uren statistic pops up, and it's very interesting, tied with the most wins on this track all time in this class.
Parsons with 3 wins. Moses and Marty with 2 apiece. So
check that. 2.
Yeah, so Marty, we mentioned that the 2 wins, all 12 races, completed every lap, 585 laps, 6 top 5, and 12 top 10. So he's been in the top 10 for every event. No pole, so tonight could be his night, however.
Yeah, and that's a statistic that I noticed as well, that lack of pole position.
So Spa-Francorchamps. Off the throttle. This guy's definitely not going to be able to keep it flat through there in these conditions. And you can really tell how wet the track is there in the bus stop. There's the shine coming off.
Yeah, and we just mentioned Aaron Parsons a bit. So Aaron Parsons does hold the all-time lap record around here at a 2.16.9. However, we will not see that in these conditions tonight.
Let's see where Marty ends up here. Should be a pretty good time. And it is to provisional pole. So Marty with a 227.6. Over a second ahead of Alex White in second. David Poole currently in third with a 29.5. David Poole on an outlap, last week's winner at Sachsenring. And this could be a good night for David, and it could help him actually in the Drivers' Championship. Well, let me see. Oh. As Prato is not here this evening. Should he land pole and score that bonus point, and then score some points in the sprint race, would help him towards that championship, as Andre is in Australia. He's there for the Formula One race, so it doesn't look like he's going to make it back as David Poole takes it off.
Yeah, so Andre's out. Unfortunately, it's going to be a very tough test. I think that Aaron Parsons and David Poole basically will have to collect maximum points here in this timed qualifying session and then the feature race as well to have a shot. But nonetheless, it's still out there and a possibility, I suppose. So Andre's running very well. Now, as this track continues to dry, we will see pole time set and reset. So still another good chunk of time here, 35 minutes. I think we can expect about every, on average 4 or 5 minutes from this point on, seeing somebody new at the top of that leaderboard, or at least a new time set.
Currently following Rich Roman. Rich currently in the 8th position. Really got his hands full with that Audi. Filling in for Thomas Schubeck, who remains injured with a foot injury, as Roman takes it off in Pujon.
Yeah, suffered that injury actually off track. I think the official classification was old age on that injury, so Schubeck out with that old age injury.
Trying to pick up a guy, Dan Wilkerson, currently in 11th on a... Ooh, it's a little too much there. Pulls it in. John Houston, big night for him last week at Sachsenring. In the Mustang, currently in 13th. It's really in contention for that competition index prize for much of the season up until Mont Tremblant, where he DNF'd, but that really hurt his chances at that award.
Yeah, the very coveted Competition Index Award as well, so tough to see that, but boy, it doesn't take but one minor miscue around this place to quickly find yourself in arrears in that overall lap category.
So Houston 3 seconds off the pace. Those not familiar with the Competition Index, it's basically a prize awarded to the individual who covers the most distance in a season, so necessarily have to be the fastest or win every race or win it all. Just be consistent and finish the races.
Boy, and speaking of consistency, I think we could talk about consistency and maybe even a little bit of speed here. I noticed Ken Rodriguez popping up here on the timesheets early in the 13th spot. Don't know if that's going to last, but Ken Rodriguez showing a few legs early.
Ken exiting the pit lane. Jonathan Cuppet currently in 15th. in the Porsche. Looking pretty tidy through there. Through Normandy. Ooh. Too much curb. Oh, gathers it back up. Looks like you might have some heat behind him there. I think that might be Houston on his tail. No name left. One of the toughest corners here at Spa. You really got to nail that thing for a good lap.
Extremely important part of the first sector, no doubt.
Cup, it looks like he's fighting that Porsche a little bit. Wanted to run wide there off track, but gathers it back up. That Mustang on his tail probably not helping him too much, but go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, I'm sure it isn't. But no matter how many laps driver gets around here in the dark, it's just always a little bit more difficult to get around this place. The braking points, just for some reason, are a little harder to pick up. Now, of course, it's dark, so it stands to reason, but even when the practice is put in, very difficult to run those types of times. You know you can in the full light. Of course, add in those wet conditions, and that is making for a little bit of difficulty out here for those drivers on track.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys tend to use the track at times, brake the tire marks on the track as a brake point, but it is, especially in the wet and at night, it's especially difficult to pick up. So.
I'm watching Alex White come across the line now to finish a lap. I don't know his first two sector times. He does indeed eclipse. Marty, you're in.
So Alex White moves to the top of the timesheet. Cup it. Let's see if he's able to improve. He does, to 14th. So David Poole looked like he was a second and change off there in that second split. He's about to complete a lap here, coming up on La Source. Whoa! A little too much throttle there on exit car. Getting a little sideways on him, a little squirrely. Pull to the line.
No.
Not going to happen. Hit fourth. Let's see. Parsons has moved up to third with a 29.5. Rodrigo Triana currently in sixth in the Corvette. Talk about a turnaround season for Rodrigo, or a breakthrough season, I should say.
Boy, you aren't kidding, and we've mentioned it once or twice already. Rodrigo, of course, actually in the fight for the Drivers' Championship, has just unfortunately slipped out of the mathematical contention here, but
improves to third.
Oh.
But yeah,
yeah, nice.
He did everything except win this season. Well, I shouldn't say. I mean, I don't believe he got a pole. He may have. I don't recall, but he's really put on quite a performance this season.
Yeah, it was only one podium, but he had 4 finishes there in the top 4. So great drive by Rodrigo, and we just kind of came out of nowhere, so it's great to see.
Also, another guy here, Jaime Moore, who's just dipped down to 11th, but Jaime Moore is 7/10 off in the first sector, but Jaime teaming up with Andres Prieto this season. Really put together a nice season for himself up until tonight.
Yeah, not quite as good as countryman Rodrigo Triana, but he did come home with a 5th place finish. But other than that, has put in very solid points for that team and has really been part of the backbone of the Team Columbia Newies and their near championship. They haven't completed 3rd place in the championship points at the moment.
Well, looking at the timing here, Johnny Lugnuts currently in 7th, and his teammate Liquid Lou right behind him in 8th. So these two guys, Team TFS, really putting on a show here tonight in qualifying.
Not too surprising to see that from Johnny Lugnuts in the wet, huh? We've seen it before.
Yeah, well, his most memorable was obviously it was in GT1, but got a pole position at Interlagos in conditions similar to this. So.
Yeah, looking pretty good. I tell you what, those times, again, I mentioned it before, the times will go down a little bit. So much pressure here on this track. Okay, yeah, 27 minutes left to go, but that really only equals 5 or 6 laps. Now, the track is going to continue to dry lap after lap after lap, right? So the pressure's really on. You have to improve that time every lap, or suddenly you're going to find yourself 4 minutes later, like 10 or 15 spots down the order from where you're at, and then the pressure really starts to mount from there. So very critical, these guys, and I think we're seeing the pressure get to some of them. Aaron Parsons not able to get down in 27 yet. David Poole, Chris Moses, so it's starting to get a little bit of pressure, a little nervy time out there, I think.
Johnny Lugnuts approaching La Source, about to complete his lap. He improves to 4th. What a lap by Johnny.
Wow. Yeah, still in the 29 range, but very close to the 28s.
His teammate Lou going to the bus stop now. Let's see if he's able to improve on his time. So Lou, this is... Lou always tends to do quite well here at Spa. So I'll have to keep an eye on him. Lou to the line. No improvement. Still hanging on to that 8th. Greg Myers in the pits, currently in 9th. Montgomery Jr. in 10th. He's on an outlap. Roman, this is a little surprising. Rich Roman, who is quite racy there in the damp in practice. It appears he has yet to put a lap together here in qualifying. So I expected Roman to be a little quicker, a little higher up than he is now.
Yeah, Rich Roman, of course, earned his first NAGP victory here at Spa in the GT1 class, however, but through 8 events here in GT2 has earned himself 4 top 5s and 6 top 10s. Rich, very good around this track, and as a fill-in for the GT2 class, has done quite well as well.
We can look further back. Nick Johnston in 14th. He's been in the pits most of this session. Ooh, as he heads out now. But looks like Nick's been playing it a little coy here, waiting for track to possibly dry out a little bit, but doesn't seem like that's going to happen as the track continues to be wet.
You know, I think these guys are up against the temperatures, so I'm not sure that they're able to really get a good lap in because the softs are just degrading on them too quickly with the heat, and I don't think the hards are able to hold the kind of pace they need to run a good time. So I think they're really kind of in between here for a couple minutes. You know, try to hope to get some more drying on the track, switch over to those inters, or perhaps even the soft slick.
So on board now with Ken Rodriguez. Ken, our Thursday night broadcast, one half of our Thursday night broadcast team in the Viper. Dropping a gear there.
Okay, Alex.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Alex White has reset the fast lap there at a 2:26.1, so now into the 26s for Alex White.
Ken a bit off the pace there through that second split. If you're just tuning in, you're watching live coverage of GT2 Super Pole from Spa. leads up to our finale next week. 2-hour endurance race, which will close out season 22, which has been another great season here at NAGP as Ken does not improve. Monroy back in 18th. A little shocking to see him back there.
Yeah, I noticed that, Al. In fact, I was just looking at it just now. So Juan Monroy not able yet to complete a lap now. 22 minutes to go, but that, again, equals only some, 4 or 5 timed laps.
Felipe Triana 20th. John Watt 21st. Pat Fogel 22nd. Matt Taylor 23rd. That's a little shocking as well. So not quite sure what's going on here. Some of these guys are just electing to stay to wait it out here, wait for some drying conditions. As Alex Scott in 24th, about to start his lap in the Audi. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, speaking of Matt Taylor was looking to be in very good shape for that race out there at Sachsenring. Did not quite was able to complete the deal, got involved in a little fracas there early on, but Matt Taylor, we have cataloged showing some very nice speed this season, has a 4th place finish as his best so far, but he also has a 5th and then a slew of other races with good points turned in. So Matt Taylor coming on strong.
It's always fun to watch these Audis at night here. All the lights flickering. Very easy to spot.
Yeah, quick update. Marty Wren now into the 26s with a 2:26.6, so a half second off of Alex White's pole time.
So his times appear to be creeping down a little bit lower here for a lot of these guys. Scott 3 seconds off in the first sector. Ooh, big slide. That's not going to help him. Looking further back, Brian Story in 25th. Gup Douglas. So Gup Douglas now running in 26th, filling in for Ian Jolicourt.
Yeah, and Gup Douglas has turned in some nice points finishes as well this season, collecting only 7 points, but has done so over the course of 4 events. So it's tough to any time around here when you get yourself into a points-paying position. So good work for Gup here in the GT2 class.
So Gup's had 12 starts here as well at Spa. He's got 1 top 5, 2 top 10s. His best finish was a 2nd.
Nice.
But we talked about Gupper a little at the start of the broadcast. We had a race last Thursday night in GT1 at Indianapolis in what could be called mixed conditions, rainy conditions, and flooded conditions. We saw the full gamut from damp to wet to flooded. And Gup Douglas and his teammate John McIntyre outfoxed everybody else on track as they went on to finish 1 and 2. John McIntyre getting his first career NAGP win in GT1, and I think it was after 150 something starts, something like that. I forget what the exact number was, but those guys just drove flawlessly. It was great to see, and I was really happy for those guys.
You know, and it's not like they didn't have good pace. It was a victory completely well earned, and they were able to manage that incredibly difficult race in 1 stop. That helped a bunch, but they weren't slow as a result of it. And boy, what a story. It was so great to see, and congratulations all around to those guys.
So Gup looking pretty racy here. Let's see where he's going to finish. To 13th, so Gup, big improvement for him.
Big improvement for Gup Douglas. Not so much improvement for David Poole. Now, David Poole has improved his time very slightly in that 2:29 range, but very surprising not to see David Poole have picked up more time by now. And that time, by the way, is running out.
So taking a look now at back up front, Alex White continues to lead. He is on an outlap. Marty Uran, he is on a flyer though. He's looks like he's pulled it back in, so he remains in second. Aaron Parsons in third. He's about to get a lap started. Rodrigo Triana in fourth. Let's follow him as he's about to close out this lap.
As you follow him real quickly, I'll give you an update. The track has gone to damp here, so damp conditions, those times should start to fall even more.
Big slide for Rodrigo exiting La Source. To third, so he improves one spot.
Oh boy. Well, now it's all about tire choice and figuring out the conditions, maybe getting a little lucky, and no matter what, trying to be the last guy out there on track. You want to absolutely hit that last lap just as time's running out.
On board now with Parsons as conditions have gone damp, you said, but tell you what, the track still looks very wet.
I think it's still pretty wet out there, Al. I really do.
See how he is here in the first split. Ooh, he's down a second. Second sector looking quite nice for Parsons. I'm not sure if he was able to make up any time. We'll find out here in a second. Just a slight lift there through. Didn't lose much time at all, actually. It's pretty close to even.
Yeah, teammate John Houston now to the 5th place with a 228.2.
Brad, I was watching the Formula One qualifying this past weekend, and noticed they were talking about a lot of these guys were upshifting really early, taking corners and gears higher than they normally would. Is that something that, as Parsons does not improve, is that something that could help these guys in these conditions in terms of maintaining speed?
It's kind of car dependent. You know, to be able to do that, you have to have the car turning well through the corner. Okay, so you have to have very good front grip, and you're able to hold more momentum because the revs will be lower. So you do need to carry more speed in. Some cars will be a little bit more capable than that than others. The Lamborghini, for instance, would be very good. Perhaps the Audi as well. But in general, of course, completely different cars. Real world versus sim world. Yeah, I suppose it can help in some conditions, but the car is going to have to handle very well through the corner.
Watching John Houston. Houston now is currently in P5, so Houston really putting a nice session together here.
Boy, you aren't kidding. It's kind of improved his times as the session has gone along, and now finds himself in that 5th spot. The question is, you know, how much lower are the times going to go, and where's he going to shake at as a result? Johnny Lugnuts, we talked about Johnny and teammate Lou Mascarelli, still sitting 9th and 10th.
Cup Douglas has improved to 8th, so Cup really getting it going here late. Just picked up Johnny, currently in 9th. Let's see if he can improve here.
Chris Moses goes to P2, 26.4, 3/10 off of Alex White's time.
A pretty stout lap for Moses. be honest with you, I was a little surprised I didn't see him further up, but it's like the track's coming to him now.
Yeah, Chris Moses has put in some, frankly, disastrous results in the rain this season. I don't think the Audi and the rain plus Chris Moses equals comfortability.
Johnny, 2 seconds off in the second split, but oh, that's not going to help. I think he probably may well have improved on his position if he didn't make that little bobble there at the exit of, or the entrance of the bus stop.
So the time's tightening up a little bit. I have viewed one or two guys their cars acting as if perhaps they're trying to give a go with the softs. It's just not quite there yet, but looks like a couple guys tried to give it a go.
Rich Roman has moved up to the 7th position. So you talked about Moses, there he is in second. Alex White. Looks like he's just started, and as he takes it off into the weeds. So we got just about 11 minutes left to go here. These 45 minutes have whizzed by.
Yeah, they do that. Now, Chris Moses, looking at that time relative to Alex White, Chris Moses, huge advantage through the second sector. So I suspect there's quite a bit of time for Alex White to gain through there, but Chris Moses really laying down the law through the second sector.
We're watching Marty. Let's see if he's able to improve here. As he approaches Blanchimont.
Yeah, interesting. I'm on Marty Uran. I don't have timing and scoring up for him.
I did not see a gap. I did not see a split time for him. Interesting. Well, we'll see where it ends up. Nice exit out of the source. Oh, he's way off the pace.
Yeah, I can see on the broadcast you have his timing and scoring, but his timing just started on my end, and he loses up at Rouge.
Let's see, take a look further back here, real quick. Poole in 8th. Yup, taking it back. Ooh, he's just lost it. He's in 9th. Johnny. Oh, see what Johnny can do here. He's about to end this lap.
Yeah, this track drying out very slowly, and it just might be a guess. Wow, nice time.
Mascarelli in 11th. He's on an outlap. Monroy now has jumped up to 12th after being in the pit lane for in his pit stall for quite some time. But he's on an outlap. So look for as Juan loses it on his outlap. Greg Myers now in 13th in the Z4.
Yeah, whoa! Greg Myers actually.
Big accident between Myers and looks like, I'm not sure if that was, let's hope he's okay. I'm not sure if that was Monroy or Triana. I lost it there. The exit of Malmedy. Man, tremendous wreck. And, well, look at Kevin Miller now, up to 13th.
Nice time for Kevin Miller, and I was on board with Nick Johnston, who was up 3/10 coming through Blanchimont on the pole time. However, lost it coming into the bus stop chicane. Lost the car, that is.
So time quickly winding down here. So some of these guys They want to get another lap, and they're going to do it quickly. Kevin only 9/10 off in the first sector, so it's like some of these guys are starting to. Looks like this track is drying up a bit.
It's going to come right down to the wire, I think, on a switch over to other tires, Al. And I was going to say a little earlier, I think it's going to come down to a complete guess here on your last lap, whether you want to be, which tire you want to be on. So hard to see the spray coming off here in the dark and the kind of the tire tracks being left on track, but it still seems pretty damp, so...
As Miller loses it. He had a pretty nice time going for himself. Up at Montgomery Jr. back at 16, so Montgomery struggling there as he has an issue through Eau Rouge. Ivy Moore off track, so you wonder what kind of tire selections. You've seen a lot of these guys going off here late. We picked up Nick Johnston, currently 18th.
Yeah, as I said, Nick Johnston was up big there through the second sector, but lost the car coming into the bus stop chicane. I think that the time is there. I think these guys are on the inters, but just not quite enough grip to hold. The first guy that does is really going to set a time for the field to beat.
Johnson approaching second split here right after Blanchimont. Really nice through there. Oh, he's up nearly 4/10. See if he can get through the bus stop okay.
Yeah, and Alex White has just reset pole time at a 2:25.
Really nervous there going into the bus stop. This could be a pole lap for Nick. Big slide on the exit of La Source.
He has been really cautious. He didn't want to blow this time. He's buried back in the field. He's got to make a good one.
Oh, the second. Wow, he lost a bunch of time there. The final, in that final sector. Alex White is on a flyer. He's 3/10 up, nearly 4.
So Nick Johnston looks like he's electing to take... No, forget I said anything.
Got just under 4.5 minutes left.
Yeah, and I suspect still that 25.7 could fall from Alex White. So a little bit of pressure on Alex White, I think, to try to bump that time a little bit if he wants to remain on the pole position. At least that's what he's thinking in his mind. So a lot of pressure on here last lap or so for Alex White.
Well, he's got some traffic, a BMW up ahead. I'm not sure if that Beamer's on their own hot lap. So White was giving him the business there with the lights, but he's lost a little bit of time there in the second sector.
He's going to lose a lot more here through this sector.
Absolutely.
So Alex White, if he does not take another lap this time by, he will not get another timed lap in.
Doesn't look like he will improve, as he lost quite a bit of time there. Oh, and he just loses it.
Yeah, Alex White will not get another timed lap in. He's going to be done. So that 225.7 will either hold up or it won't.
Parsons on a time lap as he evades a spinning Porsche. Ooh, and Parsons takes it off now. So he's going to be done.
Inter's just not quite working good enough. Can somebody make him work?
Let's see, Chris Moses now. He's on a flyer here, currently in third.
That did not look great. Oh, that didn't look good either.
Not off by much, 4/10. Could pick it up here in the middle part of the track.
Yeah, down to Alex White, 6/10 in the second sector. So this will be the proof in the pudding here. He's equal with Alex White and Nick Johnston in the last sector.
A bit of a lurch there, not going to help.
I think
second split time. Go ahead, Brett.
Take a look at the time.
Oh, he lost a bunch there. Yep, down nearly 2 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody is going to be able to challenge Alex White watching the times and where everybody's out on track. Possibly Rich. I guess Rich might be one of the last opportunities here by what I'm seeing.
Moses to the line. No improvement. Marty's not going to have enough time to get this one in.
Boy, those inters are just not working. I think Alex White is the driver that got him to work. Nobody else is able to maintain grip.
Parsons may get this in. He's got 10 seconds left on the clock. This will be huge for him if for his championship hopes if he can get a pole here, but just don't think he's going to be able to match that pace of the Gumpert. Ooh, he's not off by much.
Wow. Picked up a lot of time in the second sector. In the dry, this Mustang would be very good through this sector here, but don't know about the wet with that Mustang wheel spin.
Could get him up to second. Lock in that starting position.
Not too bad.
Ooh, bit of a slide. Let's see where he ends up. Oh, the fourth. I lost a bunch of time there in the second, in the last sector. So,
wow,
quite a exciting qualifying as the track continues to be flooded here. Alex White taking pole, Nick Johnston second. Both those guys are going to lock in their starting spots next week. The rest of the field's going to have to battle it out there for their starting positions.
Yeah, round one complete, round two upcoming, and now the fun really begins. So Johnny Lugnuts did hold on to a top 10 starting position here. Qualifying race, great to see. Teammate Loomis Gurley not too far behind there in 14th. We saw those guys. Gub Douglas finished off a fine as well, so good drives put in by all those guys.
Yeah, John Houston also with the nice starting 8th. Montgomery was able to get it back together. He was having some trouble there. He's up to 13th, so as we got some latecomers here to the show. Coming in late here, we're in Quali 2, so this little 2-minute session here allows some of the guys who missed qualifying to jump in. See Kurt Chandler just got in here. Jack Ivey as well. So what do you take on Matt Taylor back? Well, he's going to be starting 24th. Way off the pace.
Oh, yeah, that's strange. I actually saw that, Al, so I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's either lack of practice or lack of interest in that qualifying session. One of the two, I'd say.
Yeah, a bit surprised to see him that far back. So we'll have a 5-minute warm-up after this session, and then well, it's off to that 30-minute sprint. So it should be entertaining, quick 30 minutes here. Well, we got some time. We'll take a look at the point standings here tonight. Andres Prieto leading the way, unable to attend tonight because he's away. But Aaron Parsons, Prieto with 139 points. Parsons in second with 117, and David Poole third with 116. Rodrigo Triana back and forth with 110 points. Sorry, and tied for fifth Juan Monroy and Alex White with 79 points each. So. Got to hand it to White, just, given all the trouble he had early on, to be able to find himself in the top 5 of the point standings is pretty impressive.
It is. I tell you, one of the guys I've been really impressed with this season is Gregory Myers, actually. Gregory Myers, obviously a very consistent finisher. We talk about that all the time, but he has not only finished consistently and driven consistently, but has turned in good points consistently. Was actually up there tied for 6th in the championship at one point. Now finds himself 9th or 10th, but still in all, a very fine drive by Gregory Myers this season, and notable mention as well to Salem Montgomery Jr., just ahead of him in points. Salem Montgomery has also turned it up this season, finds himself 9th there in the overall championships. Very nice seasons for those two drivers.
Well, taking a look at the teams, Team Columbia Vintage, that's Rodrigo Triana and Juan Monroy. They are leading right now with 209 points, but certainly not a runaway, as two slackers racing. That's David Poole and Montgomery Jr. in second with 188. And Team Columbia Newies, that's Prieto and Jaime Moore in third with 185. So those two teams certainly in the mix. T-Brock Dam Bam GT2, that's Aaron Parsons and John Houston. They're in fourth with 158. They could somehow finish 1 and 2. Well, actually, no, they're out. They have no shot. And Precision Motor Racing, that is, they're in fifth with 102 points. Chris Moses and Thomas Schubeck / Rich Roman in fifth. So conditions will be dry here for the races. Warm-up is been quite nice here. Decent conditions. We'll take a look real quick at results here. In the last qualifying race last season, season 21, Chris Moses won the race in the Mercedes-Benz. It was a 12-lap affair. Chris Moses, Aaron Parsons, and Tiago Canola finishing third. So those were your top three. Fast lap of the race was a 2:18.5 by Chris. And Chris took pole with a 2:17.4, but no pole position for him tonight. But he'll certainly have a shot here at the win, starting from that second row.
Yeah, no doubt, and Spa is, of course, a track Moses always circles on his calendar, particularly in this final event. So always well motivated, always drives the track extremely well. And if memory serves, that was quite a contest we had last season with Aaron Parsons beginning to gain a lot of ground there on Chris Moses towards the end of that event. Could not complete the deal, however, and Moses drove his way to victory.
So with the pole, Alex White will get a bonus point for that pole position, and this 30-minute sprint race we have coming up here to set the grid for next week, that will also award points for first, second, and third. So the winner of the race will get 3, second will get 2, and third place will get 1. So maximum points for this tonight is 4. So we've seen that these qualifying races can have an effect in the long run in terms of drivers and team championships. So every point critical throughout the season.
you know, the points are critical, but of course they're going to be racing their way into this event to determine their starting order. So yeah, absolutely. We have seen, for instance, I believe it was David Poole last season have a problem in the qualifying race, got shuffled toward the back, and that really hurt his championship effort late in that season. So drivers have to be aggressive in these qualifying events to advance that position, but step over the line and it could cost dearly.
So we'll have to, we're going to take a look real quick at the competition index. So right now, the way the competition index lines up heading into tonight's race, and then tonight's race does count towards the competition index, as does qualifying. So Chris Moses leading the way with, actually tied with, no, I'm sorry, he's leading after 10 races, 430 laps completed, for a total of 1,609.8 kilometers. Andres Prieto in second with 10 races, 430 laps completed for a total of 1,609 even. But Prieto's going to be out of contention tonight after missing tonight's event. So it'll be between Chris Moses and Greg Myers, who's in third with 428 total laps completed, 1,601.6 in terms of distance. So Greg Myers battling for second. Give you a rundown of his performance this season. No wins, no top fives, 4 top tens, and his best start was a 15th. Best finish is a 6. So perfect example right there of someone battling for a prize here late in this GT2 season.
Yeah, but again, they have been consistent finishes, so still in all, has earned quite a few points for himself in the single driver classification as well. And Gregory Myers, by the way, no stranger to that competition index prize, has won it at least once, but I think multiple times, and is in it every single season.
Brad, I'm going to be right back in 2 seconds.
Yeah. And as Al steps away, real quickly, we will remind you that this is NAGP TV's coverage of it's the finale, part A, because we will have our qualifying race, and next week we will run our feature race here at Spa as well. So you can look forward to not only the action here tonight, but next week.
All right, warm-up about to be completed here.
Yeah, see.
So if you're just tuning in.
Sorry, I
was just going to say, if you're just tuning in, folks, are watching coverage of NAGP GT2 Round 10 from Super Pole for Round 10 at Spa. Just finished a 45-minute qualifying session, heading over to the race now. 30-minute sprint race to set the grid for next week. Ooh, we lost somebody.
Uh-oh.
Well, let's run down the starting lineup here tonight. From pole, Alex White leads the field with Nick Johnston starting in second, Chris Moses third, Aaron Parsons fourth, Marty Uren fifth.
Rodrigo Triana starts 6th, Jaime Moore is in 7th, John Houston put in a nice time to 8th, Rich Roman to 9th, and Johnny Lugnut's nice time as well in 10th.
David Poole starting 11th, Doug Douglas 12th, Salem Montgomery Jr. 13th, Lou Mascarelli 14th, Juan Monroy 15th.
Kevin Miller starts 16th, Gregory Myers for 17th, Jonathan Cuppett in 18th, Alex Scott in 19th, and we lost our 20th place driver, not sure who it was.
21st, Dan Wilkerson. 22nd, Felipe Triana. 23rd, John Wathen, Matt Taylor starting 24th, and Mike Trussler 25th.
Brian Story starts 26th, Jack Ivey 27th, Curtis Chandler 38th, and Patrick Fogel starts 29th.
And that's your starting lineup here tonight. We got a few guys absent. We got about 30 seconds here to go. Brad, what's your take here tonight? Who do you think's going to come out on top?
Boy, you know, I think Nick Johnson has a real shot at this one tonight. The temperature is cool, which will help White and the rear tires on that Gumpert. But I think Nick Johnson has a real chance. If he can get past, Alex White will have a lot of difficulty passing him through some of the twisty sections. So if Nick Johnson gets up a Rouge and down the straight past Alex White, he could have a shot.
Yep, look for Moses to make a gamble going into La Source here. I'm sorry, not La Source. Up at the end of the straight coming up. Yeah. Oh, and Moses with a great start to second. The rest of the field looks like they got away pretty well. So Moses is going to have a look on White here. Oh, Moses blows past White.
Wow.
Great start for Moses. Ooh, he hangs on to it. Wow, what a start for Moses. Nick Johnson falls back to third. Already losing a little bit of touch there to White in second. Parsons with a nice start in fourth. Marty hangs on to fifth. Triana Moore, sixth and seventh. Oh, nice battle here. The two Colombians going at it. Looks like most of the field got by okay. Ooh, really slow there for Lou. Allows Cuppet and Myers to get by. Scott up to 20th. Mike Trussler 21st. Wilkerson, Ivy, and looks like Kurt. Ooh, a little contact between Kurt and Pat Vogel in the Mercedes. Following the leaders here through Blanchimont into the bus stop. Oh, Moses really checking out from White. These dry conditions really helping him out.
Whoa! Yeah, Chris Moses looks like a driver possessed. I don't know how well this is going to play out over the course of our 12 laps here. Those 12 laps will run down very quickly, by the way. Alex White, a pretty fierce competitor in that Gumpert. I don't know if the Audi tires are going to hold up as well as the Gumpert, so we'll see.
Troman in 8th. Vogel's gone by Chandler. Ryan Story back in 26th. Moses already checking out on White. That gap is nearly a second.
It looks like Chris is really getting up a Rouge very well, so Alex White struggling there a little bit. And if that's the case, if Moses can keep that up, then Alex White is going to have a very difficult time. Looks like Aaron Parsons now really putting some more heat on Nick Johnston, so Aaron Parsons very close and a string of cars behind.
Yeah, Jaime Moore really putting a lot of pressure on Triana for that 6th position. On Moore with Moore.
Looks like toward the back, Jonathan Cuppet has gone off and finds himself a little trapped in the sand right now.
Break for Cuppet. Back in 8th. David Poole finds himself back in 10th. He's got quite a battle going on between himself and John Houston.
Oh, I just saw...
Go ahead.
Sorry, quick update. Just saw Johnny Lugnutz start to plummet through timing and scoring. Johnny Lugnutz was up there in 11th place, but made a mistake, now back in 17th behind teammate Lou Mascarelli.
Matt Taylor, what a start for him. Started back in 24th, now finds himself in 15th behind Greg Myers. Kevin Miller, Gup Douglas, Greg Myers, all these guys going at it. Ooh, Greg with a great pass on Kevin Miller to take 14th away. Nice job by Greg. They snuck that small BMW onto the inside as Miller's going to have a look on the outside of La Source. It's going to be tough to do, and Greg hangs on to it. Yeah, that Mercedes is fast. He's really closing up on Greg pretty quickly. Oh, there's Taylor. I heard that Porsche coming strong. He's going to have a look on the inside of Kevin. Going to be able to get it done? No, does not. Mercedes just a little too strong down the straight. Lou in 16th. His teammate Johnny behind him in 17th. So what a fight we have here for 13th through 15th. Sorry, 12th through 15th. Ooh, big slide from Miller. This Taylor is really putting on quite the drive here. After Myers got by Kevin, he's really putting a lot of pressure on Gup Douglas. Looks like he's found a bit of speed here as he starts to increase that gap over Greg slightly. So Monroy up to 11th. Ooh, as looks like Houston had a moment there in Blanchimont. David Poole is going to take advantage and take over that 9th position. Wow, looks like he might have lost it through Blanchimont. Rich Roman now putting the pressure on Triana. We got a train of cars here. Brad, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here, Al. I'm just kicking back and taking a look at the times and waiting for a nice opportunity to jump in as you are covering some great action back there.
I'll tell you what, it looks like Nick Johnston might be holding up this charge here up front.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was kind of putting in my notebook to speak about as Aaron Parsons lines up. Not going to get it done. Nick Johnston really a bit farther. Oh,
Marty takes it off. That's going to give it, give Aaron that spot, and Jaime Moore. Yep. Oh, as Roman has, looks like he's made the move on Triana. Maybe not. They have contact. As they go side by side, this is going to be advantage Roman. Yep. Oh, as Moore takes it off right front and center. So I don't know if Moore got help. He may have.
I don't think he did, Al.
Yeah, he might have just gave it a little too much snap there going into that no-name left. That's easy to do.
So Rich Roman completing the pass there. Both Audis working extremely well. I can tell you Chris Moses is absolutely a driver possessed right now, turning laps 1 second faster than Alex White. He simply will not be denied. I think this is a little bit of revenge for Chris Moses and the seasons that he has had. I think he's here and prepared to just lay a smack down to the field. So almost 4 seconds ahead of Alex White at this point.
Yeah, I mean, from the drop of the flag, he has checked out. I mean, he drove by him up the Kemmel Straight like he wasn't even there. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, he's got quite the race going for himself here. It's good to see. So White back in second. Johnson now continuing to fend off excuse me, Parsons, who is running in that 4th position. Parsons certainly going to do his best to get any points he possibly can out of this race. And Right now, Johnson is in his way. As long as he can get one out of here, it's something. It's better than nothing, right?
Yeah, well, and you have to figure it's advantage Aaron Parsons here. Doesn't look like Parsons going to have anything for Chris Moses or Alex White, but you have to give the advantage to Aaron Parsons over Nick Johnston with his incredible amount of experience around the track and race wins. However, Nick Johnston tends to get faster kind of lap after lap as he works into the race.
Yeah, he's just
we'll see if it happens.
I was just about to mention that. It looks like Nick, as he has a big slide there, but it looks like Nick lost a bit of time there to Aaron, but it looks like Nick has really found his pace here as he started to slightly gap Parsons a little bit, but that little slide allowed Parsons to close back up. So further back we got Uren and Roman. So Roman, after getting by Triana, has really left him behind and is now putting the pressure on Marty. Triana in 7th. David Poole now up to 8th. Monroy 9th. Houston remains at 10th, and we have Gup Douglas and Jaime Moore rejoins in 12th. Splits Gup and Greg Myers.
Yeah, I'm going back real quickly to David Poole. You mentioned him there in the 8th spot, and I'm a little surprised David Poole has not made more progress through this field to this point.
Jaime Moore really putting a lot of pressure on Gup Douglas.
Oh, Patrick Fogel is showing up as taking a DNF, so Patrick Fogel out of this event.
With Moore, see if he makes a pass attempt. Ooh, he's going to look at the inside through Blanche Mize. Ooh, Gup takes it way wide. See if Moore can make it stick here. Not going to happen. Ooh, as Taylor now has a look on the inside of Greg Myers. With Matt Taylor. This battle continues to rage on here.
Yeah, so too the battle over 3rd place. Aaron Parsons now really pressuring Nick Johnson, who's having to make some defending move.
Just picked up that battle between Parsons and Johnson. Ooh, bit of a moment. That's twice in a row now. Johnson has had some difficulty there at the end of the Kemmel. Ooh, as Parsons really closes the gap up on Nick. Gonna have a look
Got
on
a nice run.
Ooh, might have touched a little bit, but Parsons gets it done.
Yeah, I have to say, I think Aaron was there and Nick came just a little too far back into the groove.
So that is big for Parsons. You can already tell how much Aaron is already starting to drive away a bit from Johnston. Marty now starting to close up on Nick with Roman and Triana not far behind. On board with Roman. Ooh, Roman. Have to feather the throttle there. Taking it wide. So looking further back, Poole in 8th. He's got Monroy starting to creep up on him. Houston 10th. Moore has made the move on Gup, so Moore has moved up to the 11th position, followed by Gup, Douglas, Greg Myers, and now Matt Taylor. Kind of evenly matched cars, the Z4 and the Porsche.
Yes.
Both quite nimble.
Yeah, you can squeeze a bit extra top speed out of the Z4. You can take off a lot of the downforce from that car, but otherwise, yeah, very evenly matched. Very astute, Al.
Thanks. So Matt, let's see if we can get a run up here on Greg through Eau Rouge. They're both very, very good through here, but Matt, ooh, looks like Greg had a bit of a bobble. And looks like Taylor's going to get the job done. So Taylor moves up to 13th. Tell you what, I see a win in Matt Taylor's future here coming up.
Yeah, I could very easily see that as well.
Greg not still hanging on to the back of Matt. Certainly has not driven away just yet. So we're just over halfway here.
Yeah, and I was going to say, speaking of not driving away so much, Aaron Parsons really has not pulled out too much ground on Nick Johnson, perhaps as much as we thought he might, though Nick Johnson just had a little bobble coming down there through Stavolo. But Nick Johnson's still hanging in there somewhere.
Quick look further back, Kevin Miller running 15th, followed by Mascarelli in 16th, and Dan Wilkerson. Dan's another guy who has looked really good last week at Sachsenring and putting on a decent showing here at Spa. And not the easiest car to drive, let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Dan Wilkerson really had a lot of blanks on his points, but picked up points the last two events, and pretty good points at that. So Daniel Wilkerson finding some speedy times here late in the season.
Lou might be out of gas. Not sure what he's doing.
Huh?
Oh, I think he stalled the car.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Might have come after a spin or something.
No, he was going through the bus stop, and I think he might have dropped it into possibly neutral and stalled the car. And his teammate got a little piece of him. But that dropped him back to 20th.
Well, that's a mistake. And after such a great qualifying effort, too.
Yeah, definitely. As Cuppett now running 21st. Kurt Chandler back in 22nd in the Panos. And that's Trussler and Scott. They're both out. Triana out. Wathen out. So, here's your leader, Chris Moses. He's got nearly 10 seconds over Alex White. That's pretty amazing.
Now, Alex White is carrying a little bit of weight ballast, success ballast, but this is Moses just saying, well, I'm here, deal with it, because you can't. Okay, so this is the Moses of old. This is the pissed off Moses, and this is what you don't want to see if you're out on track with the guy.
Definitely putting on a tremendous show here tonight. Leading the field here by just about 10 seconds here at Spa. Take a look at the timing. Currently working lap 8. Alex White here back in 7th as Aaron Parsons. Not that far off White. Looks like Marty Uren has gotten past Nick Johnston for that 4th spot. So Nick continues to fade. Triana has gotten past Roman. So some shuffling going on here in the top 5. So report from the pit lane is that Lou is out of fuel. So I'm not sure what happened there. Or how you mess that up, but he is done.
Wow, yeah, still out on track. Looks like he has a chance to get back to pit lane. Coming through Blanchimont now, so maybe he can just barely make it.
Wow! As Triana loses it in Eau Rouge and nearly catches Roman. Wow, Roman just... Wow, that Corvette is smashed. As now David Poole And Monroy has gotten up to the back of Poole as these two go at it. But Triana having some serious performance issues with that. Looks like handling issues with that Corvette. Wow, I'm surprised he even managed to get that thing. I don't know how that thing's running. He ran in hard into that wall. He's just lucky he went in door first as opposed to nose first.
Yeah, that looks like well over
pressure on. Go ahead.
It looks like well over 10 seconds worth of aero damage. That's a pretty hefty.
Gathers it back up. It's like Poole smelling some blood here. He sees Triana. Ooh, is Monroy now. Ooh, looking a little ragged here.
Yeah, and I mentioned that earlier. I was kind of surprised he hadn't made more way through the field than he has. I think it's pretty evident now that he just finds himself a little bit off the pace. Of course, David Poole as well, carrying some success ballast after that frantic win at Sachsenring, barely holding off Nick Johnston for that win.
So follow these guys through the source. Tell you what, after that incident, Triana has somehow managed to keep a pretty decent pace.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. He not only seems to have the car working decently, but has his mind working decently too. That can usually just flat out rattle a guy coming to near death.
Monroy, I think he might have hit the inside wall at the entrance of Eau Rouge. Huh. These guys, Columbia, they better take it easy here. They got a team championship to win, and David Poole is one of the teams that's fighting for that championship. Ooh, as we had a big
Nick Johnson has taken an accident. Looks like Nick Johnson is out of this event.
Oh yeah, I just saw an errant wheel go flying. So Nick is out. Unbelievable.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. Another possible news brewing here is Aaron Parsons is slowly gaining some ground on Alex White. Now, it's still about 3 seconds, but that gap just opened back up on a small Aaron Parsons mistake. Aaron Parsons may find enough pace here to have a look at Alex White before these last laps wind down. Marty, you're in as well in sight of Aaron Parsons too, so that battle could come together.
Yeah, I was just going to mention Marty also closing the gap up a little bit on Parsons. So these two, well, if Parsons does manage to catch up to White, it could turn into a three-way fight here. And Roman's in the mix too. So Roman back in 5th, a little further off. Triana remains in 6th. This fight here between the two Corvettes and a BMW sandwiched in between. So further back, Jaime Moore in 9th. John Hewson, quiet race for the most part, remains in 10th. Gup Douglas, 11th. Matt Taylor, well, he's in 12th, while Greg Myers and Kevin Miller 13th and 14th. Dan Wilkerson now finds himself in 15th. Lugnut's back in 16th. Brian Story and Jack Ivey, these two duking it out here for that 17th position with Lou Mas. Oh, I don't know if Lou couldn't have been out of gas. If he would have had to have pitted, so. But Jack Ivey putting some pressure on Brian Story for that 17th spot. Over Jack.
Now, David Poole did make a pass attempt at Rodrigo Triana coming through Lacombe. Rodrigo Triana then promptly threw it off track, and he has lost some position. So Juan Monroy to 7th, David Poole to 6th, and Triana now to 9th.
You had a feeling that all that aero damage was going to end up biting him.
Yeah, David Poole making a big run coming down the Kemmel Straight.
So this fight between these two guys, as this goes on here, Jaime Moore has moved up to 8th with Triana, as you mentioned, in 9th. Jaime running a bit wide, but gets it gathered back up. So the lead out front is Chris Moses by 15 seconds over Alex White. So Chris, no need to push at this point, with just a couple laps remaining.
Yeah, Chris Moses has backed off. He's only still running 1 second faster than Alex White per lap.
So Marty Uren has really closed up the position, closed up the gap on Parsons. So Marty putting a late charge here. Had a little bit of a mistake for Marty and the exit of the source, but was within a couple tenths of Parsons prior to that, but he's closing up again on him.
Yeah, meanwhile, Aaron has not taken too much more chunks out of Alex White's time, so that gap has stabilized a little bit.
Marty.
Oh boy, well, you watch that, there is a pretty good three-way battle going on as well. Kevin Miller, Matt Taylor, and Gregory Myers all fighting here down the Kemmel Straight.
Ooh, Kevin Miller on the inside of Matt. Little contact, but Kevin gets it done. Wow. Nice pass by Kevin late. They were nearly three abreast there at the end of the Kemmel Straight.
I thought that might be one we wanted to check in with.
that Mercedes. Ooh, a big slide by Matt as well. Mercedes looking really tail happy. Nice late pass by Kevin to get by Matt Taylor. Kevin appears to be winding that gap a little bit as this race winds down.
Yeah, in fact, it has wound down. Chris Moses has made it to the line. Marty Uren's taking a look on Aaron Parsons, though, for the 3rd position.
White's going to take 2nd. Whoa, what happened here? Parsons.
I don't know.
So Marty takes 3rd, Parsons 4th. What happened there? Roman.
I do not know.
David Poole is going to finish 6th. Monroy 7th. Jaime Moore 8th. Triana is going to wind up 9th. Could have been a lot worse. Houston 10th. Up Douglas, nice finish in 11th. And Greg Myers holds off charging Matt Taylor and Kevin Miller, 12th, 13th, Taylor 14th. And nice finish here for Dan Wilkerson in 15th. Johnny Lugnut's to 16th. Brian Story is going to lead Lou Mascarelli. He's going to take 18th. And Cuppet in 19th. What happened to Jack? Kurt Chandler back in 20th. Oh, Jack's in the pits, so Jack may have had an incident. So Kurt's missing his front clip, so that explains the pace. But Kurt's gonna take your. He's gonna be a final running car here in this qualifying race. So while Kurt makes his way around, Chris Moses, you copy?
Yes, Al. Hi.
Hey, congratulations. Unbelievable start, and really sent a message tonight here with a huge win. Nearly 16 seconds up on Alex White. And, man, once you made that pass down the Kemmel Straight, you never looked back.
Yeah, car was really good for this weather conditions, and unfortunately, I probably won't be able to run quite that pace for the feature race. I'm going to have to save some fuel to make it. So, but yeah, I ran good for about 3-4 laps, and then it kind of fell off. So it still needs a little bit of setup work. Got a little bit of understeering it, but I'm happy. It was a good run. And then I also got lucky with most of the top guys have some ballast tonight, so made it a little bit easier.
Yeah, well, from what I was watching, Chris, I don't know that any amount of ballast for you or anybody else, or them not having any, would have made much of a difference. It really looked to me like you came out with the intention of embarrassing the rest of the field tonight, and I would say you more or less succeeded. So, was there any of that going on?
I'd say the first 6 laps, and then after that I started prepping for the feature event, seeing how much fuel I could save, and try to figure out the handling of the car because the tires just seem to go off pretty quick. But if we get good weather like this and I can pull any kind of gap in the feature, I can probably save some fuel and have a good shot to win. But yeah, it was set up good for this short qualifying race, and it paid off. Feels good to have a nice win here.
Well, qualifying real quick was a bit dicey there with those conditions. What was the tire choice there late? Did you guys end up going on inters, or was it still too wet?
It was still too wet. It probably worked for some cars. Our car's really bad in the wet because of the lack of downforce, and it's got awesome power, but just ended up tried some inters, and I even tried slicks towards the end, and I went back to the hard wets where I set my best time, but it was kind of in between conditions, and I just couldn't get enough grip in my last run to improve. So a little disappointed. If the weather was dry, I probably had a really good shot to nail the pole down. But you know, it is what it is.
Well, great show, great run tonight, Chris, and congratulations. Hopefully you can carry that momentum next week and come home with a win. So good luck.
Thanks, Al. I want to dedicate this to my old man, who this would be the date of his passing 14 years ago. So that's who I was thinking about most of the time.
Great. Nice job, Chris.
Excellent.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. Chris Moses dedicating the win to his old man. Nice gesture there from Chris. So, Brad, great night here racing tonight. I was pretty impressed. The qualifying race really lived up to its billing there. We had some great battles pretty much throughout the whole field. So, it's nice to see.
Yeah, as it usually does. Real surprising there. Nick Johnston having that problem and going out. Didn't see what happened there, but a couple nice news and notes. Gub Douglas looked like he did come up to finish in the top 10, so we'll have a nice starting position there. And also David Poole reclaimed some of his positions there toward the end, so I believe he came up to 6th position, but looks like he'll have a little bit of race prep to do if he expects to finish right at the top for our feature event next week.
Well, I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. We really appreciate it. Next week we'll be coming to you live from Spa with the 2-hour finale of the GT2 season. But until then, we have GT1 from Le Mans Super Pole this Thursday night with Jack Ivey and Ken Rodriguez broadcasting. So please tune into that for another great night of racing. So until then, Brad, thanks again, and thanks everybody for tuning in.